Hey guys, it's Blizappin here, and I wanted to bring you guys a video on something that recently I've had the idea for. I get a lot of comments and questions asking me to do certain shift patterns for cars, and I thought it would be a good idea to kind of help you guys out and try to help you guys find out how to find your own shift patterns. And in this video, I'll kind of be going over little techniques that I use when a car first comes out or whatever, how I find shift patterns, and maybe that'll help you guys find the patterns. I'm still going to make videos. That's not going to stop on me making patterns, but I just kind of wanted to help you guys out. So let's get started. Okay, here's a list of all the techniques that I use, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play some clips of cars, of shift patterns that I've done in the past or the future, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain which of these techniques specifically relates to each car, and I'll explain how you can kind of incorporate that into future cars that come out. And also a side note, all these shift patterns are mine, so I'm not using anyone's other videos, so keep that in mind. Okay, max revs. Okay, now what this is you're basically skipping the maximum amount of gears without killing the engine, and that's typically within a certain RPM. So what you'll see here is around 5,900, skip to 4th. That's about the max you can go without killing the engine. And sometimes in certain cars, you can find that RPM and skip whatever the max is, and that may or may not give you better time, but that's probably a good way to find out as a starter point. So yeah. Okay, max revs plus NOS. Now what this is basically the same thing as max revs, except with your finger on the NOS button when you launch. And typically that can give you a better time. So what you'll see here is that happening, and NOS plus 4th, and that'll typically give you a better time than if you were to not use NOS right away. And there you go. Alright, now this is basically the same thing. This is a full crew video of the FX6K, and you just shift to 6th instead. This is my personal best. I'll actually be releasing a video later on this time, but that's just another example. Okay, late skips or delayed skips. What this is basically when you skip a gear and you wait a little while to skip to the next one, but not all the way to like a perfect shift or something. In this specific case, you're not able to skip to 3rd right away, but you can skip to 2nd, and then in a little while after that, skip to 3rd. So basically what you'll see here, skip to 2nd, and at a certain 25 miles an hour, you skip to 3rd. And that's actually one of the best times you can get with this car. Okay, now here's another example, but the difference with this car is on the launch you don't skip anything and you wait until like 30 miles an hour, skip to 2nd, and that's kind of how you get a good time for this car. Just another example here. Okay, now this is skipping gears like later in the pattern. So what you'll see here is the pattern is to like launch at 1st gear, but then when you get to 2nd, you skip 2nd and 3rd. So let's go ahead and take a look at this real quick. Okay, here's another example. It's basically the exact same pattern, except there's a slight difference. You'll notice that you skip 3rd and 4th real quick instead of 2nd and 3rd. Okay, over revs. Now what this is basically you, instead of shifting perfect, what you would do is actually over rev, and you go way past the dial on where it should normally be, and sometimes it can give you more power and a better time. So what you'll see here is we're going to incorporate a little bit of the skipping in the beginning, and then you'll also notice that we way go past the perfect, and there's some over revs there. Now that pattern is kind of difficult, but that's one of the examples I came up with. Here's another one of my videos. This is a more recent one. This is, you'll notice this is crazy over rev. It's basically the max you can go without slowing it down. And you do that twice essentially. So if you keep that in mind when you're incorporating, whenever you're doing your own patterns, maybe keep that as an option. Maybe you're not getting best time or whatever. You could probably try this and it may or may not work. Okay, now max revs is, very few cars are like this, so keep this as like a last resort. But what you actually do is you shift, you just max it out, max the RPM out, and that's the maximum you can make it go, and that'll give it a little bit of a kickback. And this is a very difficult pattern. Not many cars are like this, but if your worst comes to worst, try this as like the last thing. Okay, kickback. This is probably one of the most helpful ones out there. In this case, shift fourth and it kicks back. Now, sometimes this can be good, sometimes this can be bad. Sometimes it can kill the engine essentially, or it can actually give you a little bit of kickback and end up giving you more power. So in that video you saw that it gave a pretty big kickback, but it gave a lot more power. Here's another example. This will be kind of hard to see because I shift right as it kicks back. So there's a little kickback you saw there. Just keep trying things. Eventually you'll get the shift pattern or whatever. Okay, last example here. This basically is everything combined into one. You got all the skips, you got plus NOS, and you got the kickback. This is going to give you a very good time, and I don't even know if this is intended to be in the game, but you can get a pretty decent time if you go with that pattern. Alright guys, that's it. I hope you learned something today about how to use your own shift patterns and make them and use them for whatever cars you want. If you like this video, leave a like and subscribe. If in the future, I'm going to be making a complete CSR racing tutorial guide that goes from the tutorial of the game all the way to the end credits on how to beat the game. And I'm going to try to put that out whenever I hit 100 subs. That'll be kind of like a 100 sub special or something. So I hope you like that, and till next time, peace out.